Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Wellness Blueprints. I'm Jess Milner. I'm so glad you're here to nourish your roots with me. Today, we're going to talk about nourishing our lungs a little bit. This episode is, all of my episodes come from a place of the heart, obviously, but there's a lot going on. And really, if you live anywhere in North America right now, at some point, either right now or in the very near recent past, you've looked outside and gone, is that fog or is that smoke? What is that? I know out here, like I live on a dirt road, there's lots of dirt roads around, people drive down the roads and you're like, is that dust? Is it smoke? And everybody's very paranoid. There have been, fires across North America. I know my friends and family back east were impacted by a smoke coming from Canadian fires, which I think is very strange because I don't remember that ever happening in the 42 years that I lived out there. But there's been very smoky conditions and it combines with lots of other things. And, obviously you can't control what is outside. Sometimes you're going to have to go out there. We live here, all of those things. We're here on earth. We live in this country. We can't escape it. But there are some things that we can do to nourish our lungs, to make sure that we're staying healthy and just taking some precautions so that, things don't get bad in terms of our lungs and everything. So, obviously, if you can, stay inside with your windows and doors shut when it is super, super smoky outside. We had really smoky, what was it? Friday, Saturday, one of those 2 days, it was so smoky and just kind of like everything was pushed. I mean, it was just eerie, that eerie, like yellow glow. My daughter got up and was like, why is it yellow? Why is it yellow? And okay, I'm going to back up just a tiny, tiny bit because I had to pause there for a second because I had a visitor. Oh, and there's something on my face now. Okay, cool, got that off. All right, yeah, I'm a real human, just trying to record a podcast here. And I will give you some insight on why I had to pause in just a second here. Okay, so ways that we can, when there's all this smoke outside, what can we do? So keep your windows and doors closed if you have an opportunity to do so, if you don't have to be outside a whole hell of a lot. Use the air conditioner, make sure that you've got a good filter. Sometimes a good air purifier is a good thing to have around, depending on how much smoke you actually have, if you have something good like that in your house. If you're going to be working outside, for extended periods and the air quality is really craptastic, you might want to put on a good fitting N95 mask, just so you don't get too many of those particles, I'm getting into your lungs and everything. This is not a good time to do like a strenuous workout outside. If you're going to be lifting, we're going to do something that's more indoors so that, where the air is a little bit more filtered. And I want you to hydrate. I want you to, make sure you're getting your electrolytes. So you can put electrolytes, you can put salt and citrus into your water. You can eat berries and leafy green, things like that. Herbal teas. So one of my most favorites is what I call my respiratory tea. And I usually do mullein. I have tons of that in the yard, but it is obtainable from plenty of places. Like we have an apothecary in town. You can obtain mullein and marshmallow root. Those two are just very, very good for the lungs. And then I like to mix in some hibiscus because I really like hibiscus. That is packed full of vitamin C, so it's great if you have a cold or something like that. Not entirely necessary when we're talking about smoke inhalation, but it sure does taste yummy. Peppermint is another really great one to put in there if you'd like, especially if your throat is scratchy or anything. Thyme and ginger are really cool to put in there too. Serve them up cold. I like to brew it, and then I'll make like a simple syrup out of either like honey or maple syrup or some cane sugar, and then put some lemon slices in there, let that kind of steep, and then strain those and mix them together, and you have this refreshing cold tea that you can do. You can serve it up hot if you'd like to too, but it's probably pretty warm out, so you might want something a little bit colder. So you want to do that, nourish your lungs with that, nourish your body with some, with those good foods that are going to have those natural electrolytes in them. And don't forget to prioritize your sleep because, it is a good thing to, get that sleep. Now, when you are inhaling things like smoke, even though, your lungs are going to be like exhaling out, like we detox more from our lungs, I think, than any other detox organ. Like things come out of your lungs a lot. You are exhaling out tons and tons of toxins. However, these particles can be a little bit bigger. They can get into your saliva. We swallow them down, and then some of them are getting into our GI tract and things like that. So, taking a binder, something that's going to help to pull those toxins out of your body, is going to be something good to add in there as well. Not all binders are created equal. If you want to reach out, I can get you hooked up with a good one that's going to ignore food, because sometimes binders, depending on which one you're working with, will bind out nourishing, like the nutrients out of food. And we don't want that. And pretty much all binders will bind out medications and things like that. So, if you are taking an important medication, I'm not a big pharma person, but I can recognize that there are medications that need to be taken by a great many good folks. So, and a binder will bind out your medication as well. So, if you need some guidance on that, I am happy to give you more guidance and give you my full script link. Also, if you want to be taking anything like, some Pulmico or Resco, if you want to be taking any herbs or pneumotrophins, just something, to nourish your lungs, I can give you access, if you don't already have access, to get some fantastic supplements just to help to build that up there. So I had to pause because I had someone from the sheriff's office just checking up on us. We actually, I am very close to the Spokane fires, which, are the worst fires in decades there. The air quality is some of the worst that it has been in decades, just because of the amount of the fires, and it is burning down structures and things like that. And I know typically I don't talk about current events very much on the podcast because, we want the episodes to be, timeless, which, yes, the information that I'm giving you about nourishing your lungs and things is absolutely going to be useful in the future. But if you would like to donate or anything like that, if you want to, so many people have lost absolutely everything. We had a fire in our backyard yesterday. We're still investigating exactly how it started. I mean, it's just so hot and so dry here. Fires are popping up all over. Some of them are started by unfortunate things. Some of them are started by unfortunate people. There's just a whole plethora of reasons, but the conditions are just so amazing for fire, which, much to our dismay. So a fire broke out in our backyard yesterday. My son and I jumped on it with the hoses while I simultaneously called 911, and they took care of it. It didn't get to the house, and we are so, 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 so grateful for everything. So we are all fine. But there are so many people near me that have absolutely lost everything. So if you are wondering how you can help, if you would like to reach out, I can absolutely get you connected with somebody out here who, the right organizations, or, just, I know of several people that are helping out private families, people who are just a couple weeks postpartum and stuff. I mean, people have just lost absolutely everything. It's absolutely heartbreaking. So if you would like to reach out and help in any way, you can message me and I will get you in touch with the right people so that you can send out whatever kind of donations or anything like that, so that it gets to the people who absolutely need it. But in the meantime, anybody who is unfortunately has to breathe in smoke, because we are here and we simply cannot leave, windows and doors closed, use the AC, filters, purifiers, wear that N95 if you are out for extended periods. Please don't work out outside. Hydrate, have some teas, electrolytes, nourishing food, get some sleep, use binders with guidance. Mullein and marshmallow root are two of the absolute best. And then you can add in like your peppermint, your hibiscus, thyme, ginger, kind of just to your taste. And depending on what it is that you are needing to, for your throat and everything. Take excellent care. Okay. Take excellent care. I want you to be able to breathe deeply and love deeply and stay safe, everybody. Love you guys.